Hi, this is Mark Levy, your sourdough simpleton, and today we're going to be braiding bread instead of baking bread, specifically the round loaf of challah used for the Jewish New Year Rosh Hashanah. So we're going to start off with about 500 grams, that's a little bit more than a pound, of bread dough. This can be conventional bread dough for challah, or it can be my sourdough challah bread dough. I'll give you a link for that. Stretch it out to a rectangle about 14, 15 inches long and about 5 or 6 inches wide. And then we're going to cut it into 4 equal portions. Now, I like to use a bench scraper to do the cutting, but you could certainly use a knife if you like to do that. You know, a lot of people will take and they'll measure out balls of dough and then roll them out to make the ropes. You can certainly do that. Personally, I find it takes a long time to do that, and you still have to get it right and get it even. By cutting the rectangle, you're going to get your 4 ropes roughly equivalent, and it looks fine when you do the braiding, so either way is certainly fine, and whatever you prefer. Take your 4 strands, and then you want to make sure that all of the edges are covered with flour so that the cut edges don't stick. The surface I'm using here is a Silpat mat with a little bit of light flouring on it. The important thing is not to let the ropes merge together when you're doing the braiding. You want to organize the 4 ropes into a crisscross, like a tic-tac-toe pattern, I guess noughts and crosses if you're living in the UK, and then you want to do a little basket weave. This means you take one of the ropes and put it under the top one and the other one under the bottom one to get that little basket look. Then, and this is the cool part, you take the rope on the bottom of the pair and put it over the rope on the top of the pair. Continue around the square, each one going over the one that was underneath. Then reverse the direction, take the one over and put it the one over the one under, and then take the one under, put it under the one over, and then take the one under and put it over the one over. You may have to stretch it a little bit to get it to work, but don't stretch it too much or you'll distort the whole pattern. Then take the free ends, twist them together, and tuck them underneath. Take each of the 4 free ends, twist them together, and tuck them underneath. Here you can stretch it a little bit, it's okay. What you're in essence doing is forming a circle by putting these ends all together. And when you tuck them under, give it a little push underneath to kind of puff it up a little bit. As the bread rises, it's going to fill up that bottom. And there you have it. When you arrange it nicely, a beautiful circular round challah made with a braid. Now, if you want to make a raisin challah, let's do the same thing here. Take your loaf of bread, stretch it out into a rectangle, and then cut it into the 4 strips. What we're going to do here is put the raisins into the challah as we're braiding it, as opposed to putting the raisins into the dough as you're making it. I found that when you put the raisins into the dough when you're making it, they tend to fragment and mess up a little bit. It just doesn't give a good result. But by doing it this way, you can control how the raisins go within the braid, and it looks much better at the end. So once again, we take the challah, stretch it into the shape, and cut it into the 4 strips. Exactly the same as we did before. Now sometimes it doesn't cut exactly like you want it to, but you can do that. Okay. Taking the 4 strips, we'll now begin to insert the raisins into each individual strip of challah. Now we do that by taking one rope of challah and taking the raisins and putting them in roughly about every inch into the strip or rope of challah. And you can be precise as this or as imprecise as you like. I just try and get them spaced evenly throughout the rope, about every inch, one raisin or so. Hey, you could do more if you wanted to. It's all up to you. When you're done putting the raisins in, you then want to reseal the strip, the rope, around the raisins. So what you end up with is a rope of challah dough in which the raisins are totally enclosed. And interestingly, when you do that, it's going to make the rope a little bit longer than it was the last time, just the mechanics of inserting them and stretching it. Now, continue this with all four ropes to put the raisins in. Now, you don't have to use raisins. You could use golden raisins, which are called sultanas in Europe. You could use currants. You could use chocolate chips if you wanted to. Whatever you like. You could use, for example, because apples are a common theme for Rosh Hashanah, you could use diced apples, little cubes of diced apples, and put them in that way. Or, you could mix it up and do one strain with dark raisins, one strain with golden raisins, apples, whatever you like, pears, whatever you like. The idea here is to be able to put the fruit, or the filling, if you will, throughout the challah. So once you've completed all four of these ropes to get them all filled with the filling of your choice, we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to make a tic-tac-toe or a crosshatch pattern. Now, because these ropes are a little bit thinner, you may notice that they don't really touch as you're starting to make the crosshatch pattern. That's okay, because quite frankly, the bread's going to rise and it's going to fill in the gap. And you'll also notice these are longer, so you're going to get about one more braid as we go around than you would have last time. So once again, it's over under as you go, and then same exact thing as last time. Take the one on the bottom and put it over the one on the top, and then go around the square, taking bottom over top, and bottom over top. Reverse direction, bottom over top, and bottom over top, and bottom over top, and bottom over top. And then we can do one more round of this, reversing direction, doing exactly the same thing. You'll see some gaps in there. It doesn't matter. Once again, take your loose ends, twist them up and tuck them under. Take the loose end, twist them up and tuck them under. Take the loose ends, twist them up and tuck them under. And then take that last loose end, twist it up and tuck them under. And that's your basic round challah, but this time with raisins in it. Now, to let people know that this is in fact a raisin challah, because we're using raisins, we're going to stick some raisins into the braid on the outside just to demarcate that's what this is. I guess if you were using apples or chocolate chips, you could do the same thing. So there you have it, a very nice round raisin challah. When we're all done, because we've had two portions of bread, we have two loaves, a round plain challah and a round raisin challah. We're going to put this into proof for an hour, then put egg wash over it and put it into bake. And when we're all done, the result are these two beautiful loaves of challah in the round shape traditional for Rosh Hashanah. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial on how to braid challah into a round loaf. Let us hear from you. Please check out the other videos in this channel and subscribe to the site as well. This is Mark Levy, your sourdough simpleton. We'll do more next time. We'll see you then.